Hi everyone. I just thought I'd make a new video of Cities in Motion 2 since this is what I've been playing lately instead of SimCity 4. I know most of the people who subscribe to my channel want SimCity 4 videos probably mainly, but I thought maybe I'd branch out a little bit and cover another game. This is what's occupying most of my time lately. And I don't really have an idea that this would be a series or anything. Just kind of talk a little bit about, I don't know, the city I've made and like how I like to design things in this game. Maybe a few tips on like how to design in the map editor. So this probably won't be a very long video, but anyway. Yeah, this is my latest city in the map editor, which is of course not finished yet. But this is Darkspire, and I finished another map earlier. It's on the Steam Workshop. The name is Andasreth, and it's Andasreth, if you don't know. And that's, I thought that was a very decent map in a way, but I'm not sure I'm satisfied with how that turned out, so I'm kind of focusing a lot more on design in this one. And giving it a lot more care into how everything's laid out, so. And I'm also using, manual placement of buildings in this. I don't really plan to ever do the building generator for this map, so I mean it's useful. It definitely saves you a huge amount of time. But I honestly wanted to, like I said, take a lot of care into designing this. So but every building here you see is placed manually, and I've got a long way to go, but I've come a long way with this so far, so I just think it produces a more satisfying result, really, because you can just make it seem a lot more natural that way. I'm not sure about the rest of the map, because I might just design downtown and then kind of generate the suburbs automatically if that can work out well. So anyway, I don't know, a few things I put here. Kind of the idea I usually go for, the same way in SimCity 4 actually. It's kind of a hybrid idea between kind of new urbanism with less car-oriented planning. I try to not have, like in this map, I have like a business loop freeway, and the freeway is far from the city center, and I don't want to have one running through my downtown really here. And I also try to kind of incorporate some car-oriented ideas, so it's kind of a hybrid idea of planning the city. I mean, you see here in the underground view I have my freeway, which actually ends at kind of the city limits. It kind of branches off from this obscene amount of lanes you see here, and three go into this pair of roads, and they kind of become a normal pair of one-way roads, and then I have it become a normal road tunnel just going under this bridge. That just kind of empties out into the south side of downtown. It's kind of an express bridge tunnel, really. So not really an actual freeway. So another thing I like to put in my cities is a parkway in Cities in Motion 2. It's not the most like complicated park, I guess. It mostly just like put down grass textures, follow it with trees and a few fountains and stuff. But this is actually the parkway that's supposed to kind of set a hard edge between downtown and the urban development in the city, and the suburban development, which you can already see I've started here. And it kind of empties out into this large park, which has some curvy pathways, of course, and is a public housing estate with some basketball courts also. Anyway, and another thing I'm still trying to get this right in this game, the map editor, is roundabouts. They can be surprisingly hard to design, well, at least if you're not going with perfectly orthographic intersections, where the roads are at a 90-degree angle only, and see here it's a 45-degree angle. So it's not, I kind of offset this road a bit to make it easier, but it is actually pretty hard to curve it. This is the way you want for a roundabout, so it kind of looks like an oval, really. It is. But you want to use expressways, if you didn't know this already, for making a roundabout in the map editor, or in the game, actually. You can convert any intersection. That's what I thought's cool about this game. You can just convert, you can build your own roads and everything. If you want to improve the traffic through means other than public transportation, you can try that too. So expressways, if I put a one-way road here, I took the sidewalks off anyway if I had done that, but there would be no stoplights for the expressway roundabout, so that helps that out. Unfortunately, it made it kind of a bad lane setup for the lane configuration here, because that's not realistic. I mean, if you're in this lane, you'd be having to change lanes to get out of the roundabout. It should be kind of the opposite. This one needs to exit, and this one can exit the roundabout. So, unfortunately, that's just the way the game does it sometimes, because this will kind of set up the turn lanes automatically. I do wish there was a way to do that manually and change how they are, but anyway. Of course, you see here I've got the baseball stadium and I think it turned out kind of nice. I had to revise it a little bit, so until I got this right. The waterfront area here. So I've got a big river walk pathway, and it goes underneath all the bridges along here. So that's a pretty long path here. And of course some bus lanes, which is just actually a dedicated road. I thought players can make this into a kind of transit hub right by the stadium. So one of the things you can do here that I've done is use a bus lane, and this is a travel lane. Now, one of the things I wish you could do is put a bus lane and a parking lane. Bus lane on the left, parking on the right, so that they can just pull off to the side. And that would kind of work for a multi-line transit hub, or bus depot. Not a depot actually, but here they can just pull off to the side to stop and then pass each other to turn left here. Actually, you are able to build certain types of roads, I believe. This one is, annoyingly enough, it's available only in the map editor. So, or not the map editor, only in the game. In the map editor it isn't available. You have to have, this is a one-way road with a parking lane to the right side. In the map editor you need to have 2 parking lanes, one on either side, if you make a one-way road, so that's kind of annoying. I wish there was a way to make that. But honestly, I don't use those too much. So I've placed these skyscrapers individually, of course, and I've used some of the landmarks from the DLCs. So I kind of tried to fit it into this. Obviously, the curve of the road, the gherkin fits in with that very nicely, I thought. So, although it is difficult to blend with the surrounding buildings because it's such a different shape. And uses the Patronus Towers also. So, these are like the tallest thing around, of course. Probably the tallest in the game, I suppose. But it fits right in my main downtown area. So I kind of put another parkway here, of course, you can see. And this is a very long one compared to the other. This is kind of planned since the very beginning. I actually, with this map, drew out a paper plan for it on a sheet of paper and scanned that into my computer, and Unfortunately, I don't think there's any way to kind of import that into the game with any tool, but I kind of tried to imitate it, and not trace it, but follow the plan for like the main parkway and the highways and everything. So yeah. Of course, the business loop concept. This was originally a different type of avenue that I tried out, but I really like this kind of design, honestly, where an avenue would split apart into two one-way roads. Doesn't look quite right with this here, but it's just how it happens in this game sometimes. I think that's a pretty cool way to design your main avenue and your main as it goes into downtown, kind of. There's a lot of cities that have that, of course, in real life. So I think this would be a good way to design the business loop, and I didn't put the freeway anywhere near here, so we'll see how it works out with traffic. Because it could be a lot on this pair of one-way roads. So I tried to make this this map not so flat. I used the terrain generator and I kind of smoothed it out though. But as I'm making some bridges where I don't want them, so I'll have to take care of that later on. This is something the game does sometimes. It's annoying though. Alright, well anyway, I've talked a while about this, and I think I might just load up the map editor and kind of show you just a few things I usually would do in there. So I'll show that in a moment. Okay, so here it is in the map editor mode, and you can probably see why I didn't want to show the city originally in this mode, because of the large, ugly building obstacle markers that only show up in the map editor. And these are very useful because if you didn't know about it, these are for controlling where buildings are allowed to appear. And you generally would use these in a parkway or any park, really. And you put them along your streets that have sidewalks, and they will basically stop. If you use the building generator, buildings won't appear where they are. So obviously that's useful for parks, not having them developed. And it'll also stop the same thing from happening if the player uses city growth, dynamic city growth in the game. I don't usually use that lately because it seems like you get a lot of, I don't know, it can kind of work out badly. You get skyscrapers everywhere, and like in your suburbs they pop up and everything. Baseball stadiums get rebuilt as smaller buildings. And I wouldn't want to mess up anyway the layout I've manually put here. I mean, it is realistic though to have your transit kind of facilitate more development, but it's not always done in a realistic way by the game. So anyway, about the building obstacles, they're in the marker category. It's the only thing there actually. So I put them along my streets. Only the ones that have sidewalks though, because if you have a road, if you've maybe noticed, if you've played the game, that anything without sidewalks, this is actually expressway, so there wouldn't be anything developing, but any road without sidewalks won't get any development along it, either with the building generator or with in-game city growth. Which is kind of not completely realistic, but it can be useful at the same time. I mean, a lot of the time I don't want, buildings to appear near here. But of course, in a lot of suburban areas, unfortunately, there aren't any sidewalks. You find main highways and arterial roads that have no sidewalks, or at least not everywhere sidewalks. And there's still a lot of development along those. So I'm sure it's possible. If I'm placing buildings manually, I can place them along there, but they won't appear automatically. So Yeah, got another roundabout here that I see. This one doesn't look very perfectly circular either. Of course, it's not the best looking one, but it works, I guess. This one's pretty much is alright, I think, coming off the highway. So yeah, I got of course the Walmart here. This is one of my favorite buildings, honestly, in the whole game, pretty much. I mean, I think it's pretty great. Got your integrated parking deck, and I just think it looks nice. I mean, it's like a Walmart type thing, of course, but it's just a nice urban style one. We've got like probably some condos or something up here. I don't know. It seems like a really nice mixed-use building. Anyway, I put kind of a median island, or more of a median barrier in this road, kind of just to align the turn lane and the straight-through lane, and then it becomes parallel parking. After that, or before that, driveway would be there. So, yeah, I tried converting this to 4 lanes. I thought this would be very congested once the city develops more. But I think this is actually better because of the way the game makes turn lanes. Because before, I had like, this lane needs to turn right, and then this one goes straight, and then this one needs to turn left, the one that's straight, and the other one needs to go straight. It keeps alternating, and that would be very confusing for drivers. And I'm sure it would show in the traffic congestion, so it's actually sometimes better to use the parallel parking if you want just traffic flow, you know. So here I've got like 2 turn lanes turning right. So that's kind of useful. Another one of my favorite buildings, a department store. Very nice historic building, of course. Yeah, so I converted this road to a 4-lane road, kind of getting further away from the city center. Instead of the parking lane, you've of course got more suburban development style. There's no parallel parking the further you get away from the city center. And this is one of my favorite types of things to do with avenues, you know. My favorite types of avenues to build, I mean. So this main one, which comes all the way from, it goes up pretty much the whole way across the city. Becomes 2 one-way roads, merges together into an avenue with a median again. And eventually, I've got this splitting into a median U-turn crossover type of avenue. I've built this in my SimCity 4, my Solitude Let's Play before. And it's a pretty cool design to build in games, I think. This is very suburban, typical suburban type of avenue. It's also known as a Michigan left, so I'm from Michigan, and yeah, you do see these a lot. And if you didn't notice, of course, what it's trying to do is there are no left turns. You don't put a road going across the middle, and you just have like an intersection here, and then that can turn right and then left, make a U-turn to go left, same way going onto that road. When I make intersections in development along it, which hasn't happened yet, of course. Those are pretty useful. Yeah, so, I mean, just another thing is the highway out in the far outskirts of the city. I've just built a few interchanges, and they're not very heavy duty or anything, because most of the traffic would be taken by the business loop here. And I built this one. This was actually a real pain to build, but I built this pretty recently, when I built this highway. And as you can see, it's very unusual. Okay, sorry about that break in the video. Actually the fire alarm in the building went off, so I had to go outside and stop that for a moment. So, yeah, the basic idea behind this interchange was build all the ramps on this side so they're not, you know, on a hillside. You know, that would be very expensive and over the water even sometimes. So this was very hard to design. I guess this would actually be possible in SimCity 4, but I've never been able to figure out how to make something like this, so it's a new experience to learn how to build this. So I'm not sure this is the best way this can be done. I mean, least amount of bridges and everything. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bridges. And anyway, of course you see all the ramps are kept on this side. I don't have any right turn ramps yet, so I'll have to add those in onto the existing ones later. And anyway, you see the left turns are all taken care of by these loop ramps and other ramps going under the bridges. So I got everything to be on the right side of the highway. So that's just one of the nice things about Cities in Motion 2 is you can just build freeway interchanges. You can spend your entire time playing the game doing that, you know, and then occupy yourself a lot. It's real, very fun to do, honestly. Just to build highways and everything in this game, in the map editor. And that really, you can be really creative with different designs and everything to accomplish what you're looking for, compared to like SimCity 4. I mean, it's possible in that game, but this makes it a lot easier. But of course there's some disadvantages, like while you can curve the ramps and slope them however you want in this game, there's stuff like, you know, that design of the highway, and it's like something that annoys me about the game in general, roads, is that they're not European and or American, North American, throughout the game, I guess. Here you see a yellow line in the middle, like in North American road textures, road markings. And if you go down to 2 lanes, the same kind of road, even if it's two-way, it will just have a white dashed line like in Europe. So they don't have it very consistent, but the highways are the same way. No yellow line or anything, so it doesn't look completely realistic like you would with the Network Anon mod. In SimCity 4 you'd have that look probably more realistic. Anyway, the thing about I like about the map editor in this game is you can just focus on design, which is what I love to do. You probably noticed in my Let's Play series, if you've watched those, I don't focus on playing the game and everything. I mean, I run the simulation and everything, but mostly it's about design for me, so I like that about the map editor. You have unlimited money, of course, and you can put anything how you want it without much constraints in this game, so it gives you a lot of freedom, really. So yeah, I mean, I really hope to finish this city in good time, because of course I'm placing every building manually. I've got a huge amount of space to fill up. Probably most of it will be suburbs, so that won't maybe take as long. Maybe it will, though. So we'll see how I finish and develop this in the future. So yeah, I mean, I've actually had someone tell me once that I should make a series on Cities in Motion 2, another Let's Play. And I'm thinking probably once I've finished my SimCity 4 ones, if that never happens at this rate, but hopefully I can get the cities kind of fully built out in that, and then I'd start something else, maybe, where I'd actually play the game, not the map editor. And I'm getting a little good at that, so I'm not the best at this game. The public transit part of it, it's fun though. I like it a lot. So maybe I'll start this sometime. I mean, let me know what you think if anyone's interested in Cities in Motion 2 series Let's Play for me. So that's about it, I guess. I've talked a while about just the game, the map editor, various things, and design of my cities. And I hope you enjoyed that. So it's kind of a new idea, I guess, that I've not done before. So thanks for watching this video.